Attention, brave viewers. This video features adults immersed in a spine-chilling horror RPG experience. The content likely includes supernatural elements, horror-related events, and potentially scenes of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy.
Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. It is Sunday afternoon and time to lose our minds. So I will hand it over to Mr. Brian.
No. You can't lose your minds. We have to just play with them a little bit first.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So we are rejoining our heroes in Los Angeles, California on the afternoon of July 2nd, 1935. It's a Tuesday, for those of you who are keeping detailed notes at home, where they are planning to go and talk to one Olivia Clarendon, an A-list movie star who apparently has or had some sort of connection with the group of ne'er-do-wells that seem to be at the heart of their current investigation. So my understanding is that Adrian and Alice are going to do the actual meet. Where are James and Sal planning to be during this operation?
Sal, I would suggest that we stay parked outside. I know I would want to be within running distance if need be. So do you think you'd be okay with that, Sal?
Well, yeah, I mean, Sal's a very people-y person in his own way. But yes, absolutely. I mean, he does have the charisma of like, a raging bull.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are able to park across the street from the backlot entrance at Warner Brothers. And just like it was yesterday when you guys were here, there are, a number of photographers and tourists and other looky-loos kind of clustered around the gate. But when you two go up and give your names, or at least the names that you put in your letter, the guard at the little gate kind of looks up a thing and nods and makes a phone call. And a minute or so later, a tall gentleman in a suit comes in. You recognize him as the chauffeur, the guy who met you at the park previously. They open the gate and let you in, and immediately some people start taking pictures of you because you must be famous. And the chauffeur just kind of nods and starts walking you back. It's a classic kind of Hollywood backlot scenario. There are a couple people in army uniforms having lunch on one of the picnic tables with an Indian chief and a knight in paper mache armor. But
There's got to be Roman soldiers, or it's not a backlot.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's some.
They're filming Cleopatra.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
Okay, I imagine that on the drive there, Adrian and Alice discussed how they'd be going about this, what our story is, our names, who's talking, and I think that Alice suggests let's stick to the Uncle Lester story with a bit of a tweak, that we're looking to find out what happened to Uncle Lester, and that we think that he was somehow involved or perhaps even died at this fire, and that her name's come up, Ayers has come up. Let's share what we've got. Do we have the picture with us? We've got the picture with us.
The picture?
Yeah, the signed
picture that
picture
was
of her that you
yeah.
got.
I thought we sent that we handed that off to her.
You talked
no.
about it, but you wound up not doing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so we've still got it. We've got that with us. We know that her number was in Ayres's address book. So if she says she didn't know, and we can confront her with that. So perhaps we share what we know, but the reason why we're doing this.
Sounds like a fair plan to me.
Okay, and who's going to do the talking? Will you or shall I? Shall I?
Let's both take turns, but since this is your relative, perhaps it would be more credence for you to speak on him in case there's any personal questions asked.
Yeah. And perhaps you're my therapist. You're helping me to
Work through it.
work through the loss and the disappearance of Uncle Lester.
I believe that could work. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So.
All right. Well, he leads you back to a trailer that is just sort of barely visible from the gate. It's the one you saw her come out of yesterday. He knocks twice on the door, and there's a sort of a muffled come in from inside. So he, kind of looks the two of you over one last time, and then opens the door. He hasn't said a word since you got here. And you are brought into the trailer of the famous Olivia Clarendon. She is seated at a little, kind of makeup mirror kind of setup in her trailer. She looks like she's in the process of taking off her movie makeup and putting on her just day-to-day going around makeup. And as the door opens, she kind of looks over at the two of you. You can see a momentary flash of recognition since Alice, talked to her briefly at the gate yesterday. And she just kind of furrows her brow a little bit and says, "You can wait outside, Arthur." And Arthur kind of pauses for a moment, and she nods at him, and he goes outside and shuts the door. You can tell that he's standing like right on the other side of the door, but he's outside. She says, "So, what is it you people want?"
Well, thank you for your time, Miss Clarendon. We're hoping that you can maybe help us, shed some light on something that happened about 10 years ago. We believe you knew George Ayres, professor at the university.
Oh, that's the George you're talking about? Yes, I knew him. I was acquainted with him, I guess you'd say. What's the... I guess I don't understand. You sound like there was something scandalous going on.
Well, it's our understanding that Professor Ayres was involved with a group around a certain Mr. Raymond Echevarria. Does that name ring any bells?
And Adrian, you would certainly notice when that name hits, she just kind of sort of stiffens up a little bit. It clearly, does ring a bell with her. And she says, "The name sounds familiar. Who are you with?"
Well, I'm with Dr. Adrian here.
Wait, just a quick thing. Adrian would have assured you to say Edith instead of Adrian.
Okay,
That's right.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah, you're in. Yeah, I'm with Dr. Edith here. We're looking into the disappearance of my Uncle Lester.
So you're not with Filmland Express or Movie Times?
No. I mean, this is just a personal pursuit, if you could say. We're trying to find out what happened to my Uncle Lester, and I think that we figured out that he was probably killed in a fire in I think it was August 2024. This was also where Raymond Echevarria was killed, and a number of other people.
1924.
1924, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
As you can tell, this is a very familial matter. I apologize if any of our words to you have been distressing so far. Any of our letters to you, it's you know how emotions can get the best of us when it's about family.
And on top of that, there seems to be some interest in us now that we've been looking into this. So, yeah, as I said, we came across you, or your link to Ayers, and Ayers was linked to Raymond Echevarria, and we were hoping perhaps you'd be able to, well, tell us some more about what was going on in 24 and how you knew George, how you knew Echevarria.
Alice, I would like you, if you can, to spend me a point of reassurance.
I will do.
Okay. So she basically takes a long moment looking at the two of you and says, I'm happy to help with whatever happened with your uncle. I just want to make clear that I'm not interested in anything that makes this sound scandalous or salacious. I wasn't involved in any of that, and I would be very disappointed if I were to hear any of this information getting out.
Oh, we have absolutely no desires to bring this into the public eye. As we said, this is a very private familial matter. We just really want to figure out what happened. We promise you that none of this is meant to go public.
Yeah, I mean, because apparently all the dead bodies they found at the fire were all naked and doing stuff. So yeah, and I mean, I want to find out what happened to Uncle Lester, but I don't. The rest of the family doesn't need to know.
That tracks, she says. While this is going on outside, Sal and James, you see an LAPD cruiser kind of come down the street and just sort of pull in behind you. There's no siren or anything. Nobody gets out.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. My Streamlabs froze up and I lost the stream, but we are back. Maybe let's go to when you cut to us being outside, Brian. That may be where we lost everybody.
All right, fair. So we had cut to James and Sal waiting outside. Sal is sort of leaning on the hood of the car, and James is inside. And an LAPD police cruiser has just sort of pulled up and pulled in behind them. And no one has gotten out. There's no siren or anything. There's just a couple cops who are looking around, but mostly looking generally in your direction.
And still in the car.
Still in the car.
Hey, Sal, remember when we
he's outside, so you're gonna have to like lean out the window to talk to him.
Oh, you stepped outside.
He said he was sitting outside, like leaning on the hood.
Got it. I'm sorry. I'll step out then. Close the door, kind of sit next to him and go, well, the theory about the captain and the LAPD suddenly goes up the list.
Indeed.
You need anything that we should put under the seat of the car in case they get frisky with us?
Sal kind of pauses for a moment, nods and says, yeah, I got a piece on me.
And I pull out a cigarette and I very poor acting wise do the I can't find a lighter. And I turn to you, Sal, and I go, do you have a lighter in the car?
Yeah. Matches, a book of matches, certainly.
Sal takes a second. Right.
So hopefully it gives you a chance to ditch your piece.
Yeah.
All right. So you go inside, find your book of matches, and tuck your gun under the seat.
I like this cigarette. Yep.
Yeah, they are kind of watching you. So I don't know. Does Sal have things in the way of like filch or maybe a stealth?
I don't believe so. Let me check though. Nothing in filch.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 in stealth.
Okay, just go ahead and make me a target number 4 stealth roll to avoid any suspicious movements.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and spend 2 on this.
That's probably wise. Okay, not a problem. Like he's done it 100 times before.
Probably have.
I mean, yeah, I know. All right, and then go back out and light up and just kind of continue your conversation as though nothing were wrong.
Yeah, just keeping an eye, obviously, on the main gate.
Yeah.
And looking the Han Solo looking, but not look like I'm looking.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping an eye on the cops.
Yep.
Looking casually.
Yeah. No, everything seems fine. They're just parked here as it happens. Back inside, Olivia kind of finishes with her makeup and stands up and starts like pacing a little bit around the room, and she says, so when I was first starting to climb the ladder in Hollywood, I was looking for people that might be able to help my career. It's a cutthroat business, and as you can imagine, anyone you can get a connection with might be useful. So I was working with George at UCLA. He was a professor of ancient religions or some such thing, and he was helping me do some research on a picture idea I had in mind. We actually were talking about doing a script for Cleopatra, and then DeMille beat us to the punch before we could get the money. But anyway, he invited
reboot, which is why it took a little bit longer. Brian, I don't know where it makes sense to move back from.
Well, I think I can just sort of summarize what Olivia has said so far. Basically, she says that she did go to a couple of parties with George Ayers and Ramona Echevarria. Ayers said he was sort of part of Echevaria's inner circle in his group, which is apparently Ayers, Echevarria himself, and a fellow named Samson Trammell, which is a name you haven't come across before. And basically it sounds like it quickly became apparent to her that while the connections might be useful, she was not interested in parties where the sort of thing happened at his party. She hasn't gone into any details on what that is, but she seems like she is concerned that some of the stories about her presence there will get out.
Okay, and at those parties, did you, I don't know, other than this Samson Trammell and Raymond Echevarria, did you meet anybody else there? I think Richard Spend.
Yeah, I saw him there once or twice. I was a little bit starstruck, frankly, because he was more established at this point, and I really wasn't. But once I saw what he got up to, the shine wore off of that.
Okay, did you meet an?
The name doesn't sound familiar. What do they look like? No, I see him.
I've lost
Alice
you,
will give
though.
a description of.
You're back.
Okay.
Yeah, you can describe him, certainly.
Yeah, Alice will give a description of a younger Edgar Job.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think I remember him. He was a obsessive little man talking about mathematics until I could get away from him. I didn't have any real interactions with him. He just wouldn't shut up about his formulas or whatever they were.
And when was what was the last party you went to? Were you there in June or July 24?
I couldn't tell you the dates. I seem to remember it being during the summer, but I don't know exactly when.
Okay.
I've tried to leave as much of that behind me as I can. So you think your uncle was involved in all of that?
Yeah, we think that perhaps he was, well, he went missing around that time, and we found in his estate some things that pointed towards Los Angeles. And, well, according to the police report, there were 7 unidentified nude bodies found. So we think he might have been one. And then Alice is just going to give some thought up description of a man in his 40s,
Mm-hmm.
and ask whether Olivia perhaps remembers seeing him. He had bright red hair, blue eyes, walked with a limp.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound particularly familiar, although I don't know, with the way those parties were, it might be better if you tell me what he looks like naked. I hope you can't tell me what he looks like naked.
No, I can't. Alice is going to look mortified.
Mm-hmm. And she looks unhappy with the recollection.
Okay. Did you ever have any contact with George Ayres after the parties? After you stopped going?
No, I like I say, it didn't seem like it was the kind of circle I wanted to move in, regardless of how helpful it might have been for my career.
And none with this Raymond Echevarria either.
No, he certainly tried to make contact, you might say, at the parties, but nothing after that. I more or less cut ties.
Okay. Did you read about the fire, or did you find how?
I remember hearing that he had died in some kind of thing, but it wasn't even at his house. It was at some kind of farm building or something.
Yeah. Do you know where his house was? Because was the parties, were they at Raymond Echevarria's house?
I assume it was his house. Yeah, it was somewhere in Highland Park. I couldn't. It's been a long time. I don't think I could find it on a map.
Okay.
I mean, I might know it if I saw it, but I don't. I'm not inclined to go driving around looking for it, if you don't mind.
I understand, but perhaps, do you remember what it looks like from the outside? Anything distinctive in the neighborhood?
It was big, kind of white stucco. I remember they had a fancy garden area out to one side. I wasn't really paying much attention.
Okay. Then, well, thank you very much, Miss Clarendon, and Olivia is going to look towards Adrian or Edith and say, Edith, do you have any questions?
Well, I really don't want to bother you too much, Miss Clarendon. I can tell this isn't something you quite enjoy reliving, but do you happen to remember a man named I guess his surname Buchwald?
No, it doesn't ring a bell. But I mean, there were a lot of people there. There were, between stars and movie execs and people that looked like they had just come in off the street. There's no telling who you might find.
I understand. Well, thank you for helping us with this. And again, I'm sorry for any distress we might have caused with our urgency.
No, well, it's I'm as long as we understand that this stays between us. Yes.
Of course. And are we the first ones to ask you anything about Raymond Echevarria and these parties?
Mm-hmm. I had almost blocked it all out.
Okay, well, I'm really sorry that we, again, as I said, that we dragged things up. You've been extremely helpful, and Alice is going to look towards Edith and like, okay, do we stand up now?
May I ask one question? Just like out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any specific smell in the room at the moment?
I mean, there's cigarette smoke. There's probably a couple bouquets of flowers here and there. Smell a little bit that, but nothing unusual.
No sulfur.
No.
No N, whatever that is.
No, yeah, I mean, not knowing what it smells like, it's hard to say. But,
it smells exactly like a bouquet of flowers, surprisingly enough.
Weird.
Yeah,
Actually, Adrian, as she says, I've, she said I've blocked most of it or tried to block it out of my mind. Something from your time, like doing therapy with people, the way she says that suggests that there's something she hasn't been able to block out. So,
Miss Clarendon,
Mhm.
I don't wish to intrude. Uh, sim- I spent years in Austria, undergoing university for, well, therapeutics. And again, I don't wish to intrude on you, but if there is something that happened there that is that you aren't able to forget, then I do suggest you do talk to someone you trust, someone. I don't know much about psychiatry in this area. I'm from up north, but I understand the desire to lock some things away and just stuff them away, but that can only make it worse. If you have someone you trust, I do recommend you talk to them about this.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you,
Of
Doctor.
course.
Well, if that's all, I'll need to be getting home. But I hope I was able to provide some help for your investigation, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way. But I hope I never see either of you again.
Of course. And if you do think of anything, or if you simply wish for help finding psychiatrists in your area, um, she'll give just like we're staying at this hotel for a while. If you can fact there will if you do contact us, we can discuss contact there later, but just in case.
And she nods and sort of takes the piece of paper and just kind of puts it absently on a desk. So.
And as we get up to leave, just at the door, Alice is going to reach out and then turn around and say, "Oh, just one more thing."
You use the Columbo move.
Love it.
This is the Columbo move. Captain Walker never interviewed you about this?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. No, sorry, that's somebody else we bumped into. Thank you again, Miss Clarendon, and all the best. Good luck with the movie.
Thanks.
Shall we never
Should be
meet
out in
again?
this fall. All right, and she, Arthur, the door kind of, looks back, and she just kind of nods and shuts the door behind you, and he walks you out to the gate.
Okay.
You can see that James and Sal are, sort of having a conversation, leaning against the hood of the car, and there is a police car behind them.
And as soon as I see the Doctor and Alice step, like hopefully even before they even get past the gate, as soon as I
you can see them coming.
Throw the cigarette on the street, put it out because it's the 30s.
Right.
So there's
sure. That's what you do.
They just magically disappear after that. I'm gonna turn to Sal and go, this is probably really dumb. And then I'm just gonna start walking towards the cops.
Okay.
And as soon as it's obvious that I'm walking to them, I give them kind of a friendly howdy.
Okay. You go in driver's side, passenger side?
Driver's side.
Okay. Rolls down the window.
Gentlemen,
Morning.
anything I can help
afternoon.
you with?
I don't know. Is there anything you can help us with?
I don't know. You parked behind us here, and I pull my badge out and go, I know a lot of times that when we park outside of things, when we park behind other cars, that we're trying to figure something out. So didn't know if it's something I could help with.
Oh, no. I mean, unless there's something going on that we need to be aware of.
Nope, just trying to help a fellow officer.
No, I appreciate that, but no, we're fine, thank you.
Am I getting any vibe?
I mean, I know you have cop talk and a number of social skills like that. You are pretty sure that this guy is like, the sort of unspoken subtext is, yes, I'm watching you specifically. But I'm not going to give any away. But I'm kind of waiting for you to do something dumb.
Okay.
He's basically looking for provocation.
Gotcha. Right. That's fantastic, gentlemen. Hope you have a good afternoon.
You too.
And I will open up the door for the Doc and Alice.
Okay.
And Sal, when we get back into the car, go, yep, they're here for us. And I kind of, I guess, Alice, of course, you're shotgun, right? I kind of lean up and say, where should we go next? And do we want them coming with us?
I suggest we just browse around aimlessly. They'll get tired of us sooner or later.
What time is it?
It's
you think?
probably 5:15.
Oh, dinner time.
Yeah, well, let's go out for dinner.
I guess
Perhaps
beautiful idea.
we can update you over a meal.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. You going someplace fancy, someplace inexpensive?
I want to go someplace decent, where we can, sit down, obviously, not a walk up.
Right.
And Sal, can we find something that a couple miles from here? I don't care what direction, which way, but I want to make sure that we know whether they're with us and staying with us or not.
How far is the line as far as jurisdictional line? These are LAPD.
Yeah, I mean, LA is a very big spread out city, so they have a pretty broad coverage area.
Okay. Didn't know if we were at the edges of it that we could, head out to part of the countryside that was not, patrolled by them. But no worries.
Yeah. So yeah, you find a little place called La Golondrina, which is a little Italian place that looks promising. Yeah, I know what Sal's looking for.
Blues Brothers parallel park.
Exactly. When you pull out, the police car does follow you for a while, and when you park at the restaurant, it goes on by. But I would say as you're getting out and going inside, you might see them drive by, or a police car, might be the same one, drive by again, like they circled the block or something, just to sort of see where you're going.
And while we're eating, Brian, I'm just going to try to always be in a situation where I can look outside. I want them passing by is fine. I just need to know if they park again.
Okay.
In a place where I could see them.
Right. And certainly not by the time you go inside. And, you get a seat, the maitre d' gets you to a table kind of halfway back. Yeah, you seem to be unobserved at this point.
What did we figure out?
Well, George Ayres introduced her to Raymond Echevarria. I think she went to one or two parties and figured out this was not the type of, scene she wanted to be associated with. And Alice will look towards Edith / Adrian and say, well, I got the feeling that she was telling the truth, but I mean, of course, she's a world-class actor. She did give us another name because she said that George Ayres said he was in the inner circle of Raymond Echevarria with a slimy small man named Samson Trammell.
And immediately the address book comes out of my jacket and immediately start looking for that name.
I would say that there is an entry and a phone number.
No address.
No address.
I slide the book by and I point to it.
Okay, so we might try and call that. She couldn't remember exactly where the Echevarria house was. She just said it was this big white stucco building, but I can imagine, what I've seen so far in Los Angeles, they're all big white stucco buildings. So that's going to be a bit tricky. The Captain Walker didn't get any response from her. So yeah, she just, asked that we not make any of this public knowledge, which I can't imagine. So
She definitely seemed quite genuine, and while yes, she is an actor, that doesn't mean that she's always trying to be in her role. She seemed genuinely discomforted. She also seemed like she was repressing memories from her excursions at the estate. Not just discomfort of what she saw, but it seemed something specific she was trying to block out. Now, by nature of my practice, I could not in good faith press her for that unless she was willing to give that information. So I did not try to pry, but I did say that if she wished to talk, she could contact us.
yeah, so she's got the details of our hotel, and then I think that
You told her where we're staying?
Edith did.
I understand your distrust of the situation, and it could be that I understand that you think she may pass it on to somebody else, but genuinely, she wants nothing more to do with us. It's not always the worst situation to give someone information.
Yeah, I gotta use the boys' room. You'll have to excuse me. I'm gonna take the book with me. I'm gonna go to Maitre D and go house phone.
Yes, Signore. And he will take you back, and it's like behind the bar on a long cable.
I'm dialing the LAPD.
Okay. LAPD?
Yeah, I've Captain what was his name? I'm sorry.
Captain Walker was the one.
Walker, thank you. Yeah, Captain Walker, please. James Burton, Chicago PD.
We what precinct? We don't I don't see a listing for a Captain Walker.
Yeah, look one more time for me. I was told that he was LAPD, captain of the LAPD. Walker.
No, he's definitely not the captain. I think you were given wrong information, sir.
Sorry to bother you.
Okay.
I come back, and I wasn't trying to pretend, like I wasn't trying to trick you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, you saw me walk over, and I come back. And
I'm going to the bathroom.
I come back and I put the book back in. And I said, so called the LAPD, and they don't know of a Captain Walker. So Sal, I'm trying to figure out now. It made our tale made sense, and now it doesn't make sense.
How
Sal pauses for a moment. Go ahead. Sal pauses for a moment and says, we know his exchange, don't we?
Yeah, you have that from the phone number.
That may give us a geographical location in which to narrow it down. Does it make sense? I mean, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, and we can call the operator, and the operator, I'm sure, could tell us that, but I need all of us to think for a second. Why is the LAPD on us?
Because they're crooked? I mean...
Yes, we already know.
Because they're pigs.
We already knew that they had somebody on the inside. Several people at this point, even if it's not someone named Walker, we already knew that they were interested in this on a personal level.
Do we think Olivia would have called them?
I don't think Olivia called. Perhaps
when
a driver.
Yes. When did your friends appear that were behind you? When did they appear?
You've been in there about 10 minutes or so before they pulled up behind us.
Then she would not have called them.
They were here for us.
Indeed, but in that time she would not have called them. Nor did she seem like she was really anticipating anyone coming in to give more information. Genuinely, I do not believe that she has any greater interaction with this.
And I trust you on that, Doctor. All right, so let's work backwards. Who? Someone? Did we tell anybody at the hotel we're headed to the back lot?
No, but Olivia's driver, he's the one who let us know when to come. So he might know.
And they already know the car that we've rented out, the license plate. If I don't know, our friend Pisner has connections to the LAPD. He could have easily given them our credentials.
And when you had your little confrontation with him, it did seem like at least the cops that showed up to deal with that knew him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You mentioned the driver. That reminds me. It would seem to me, and I'm just a guy on the street, that the what's her name, Mrs. Clarending or whatever, she probably would know the address because she has a driver for that. Maybe we can get him to the side, and maybe he'll be the same one she had 10 years ago. I don't know.
Sal, does your definition of get them to the side always involve punching them, or is that just a once-off occasion?
It doesn't always mean,
Rough
show him some
percentage,
justice.
ballpark guess, rough percentage of how many times it does include that?
Oh, probably, I don't know, 2% of the time.
That's a really vague ballpark, Sal.
Well, situations, they're fluid.
Fair enough.
But are we? I mean, he's pretty much always with her. So are we going to follow them? Or perhaps it's more easy. I don't know. If tomorrow we check out the city hall, try and just dig through public records, and Alice is not going to look very enthusiastic about it. But see if we can find some more information about the estate, or I don't know.
Do we even know where the estate is?
Well, no, the probate, how the estate was handled, that will have
Oh, I see
been
what you're saying.
yeah, and perhaps or we go to the phone company. Perhaps they can do a. How does that work? They can, if we stop by the phone company and we can try the number for this Samson Trammell. See who picks up.
Friends, I hate to be this person,
But then don't be that person.
but
Simple enough.
we have no direction here. I feel like we know there's more that we don't know than when we got to LA. And I don't, but I feel things are coming closer to us.
Well, if we keep on pulling on stuff and poking our noses in, perhaps it'll come to us.
As you were mentioning City Hall, it would seem to me that this Captain Walker, if he was with the LAPD, would have taken some sort of oath or something like that, that they would record in City Hall as far as, him being a public servant and all.
That is there probably would be records of them, but it would probably be at the police department rather than at City Hall.
Yeah, and Sal, the person that I talked to, just a dispatch operator, not somebody that would know to lie if someone asked for a Captain Walker. I really don't think, at least he's currently with the LAPD.
I don't know. You've seen how big LAPD is, how many men they've got.
No, that's not wrong.
The average dispatcher, they may or may not know.
Brian, would in this day and time, would I be able to call an operator and find out I've got this exchange, I'm not quite sure what part of the city this exchange is for, and they would.
You can call them, or even look in a phone book. Will list where the exchanges are.
Perfect. I'm going to go back to the maitre d', ask for a phone book, and let me figure out what this Walker exchange is, and I'll step away again.
Happily provide it.
Going to the bathroom again?
Yeah, got a baby's bladder.
While James steps away for a moment, I will just mention the two of you. Also, we switched hotels after the encounter with Pisner, right? Or was that before?
That was after.
After. So the only two people who explicitly know where we're staying would probably be Miss Clarendon, and if she shared the information, her driver. It did not seem that he was in the best state of mind to consider this, but it would give us a lead if somehow someone found us that it was one of them.
I agree, but and then Alice is going to look towards Sal. We're going to need to make sure that that the cops don't follow us back to the hotel. So perhaps we do a bit of a scenic tour, see if we're being followed when we head back.
Fair enough.
I'm always good for driving. You tell me where to go, I'll drive.
Okay. James, you do a quick look in the phone book. The exchange is called Sycamore, but it's in an area up by Pasadena, so northeast of LA proper.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a jump too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And can you look up the area code for the Samson Trammell?
I mean, you can look the name up in the white pages, and there is a Samson Trammell listed in Pasadena, and you get an address on Hyacinth Street.
So I come back, and you see me open up the address book again, and in my pencil under the phone number, I show you the address. This also happens to be where our Mr. Walker is calling from.
Well, if this Samson Trammell is still in the phone book, apparently he wasn't there at the party on the in August, or he got out. I think this is somebody we need to check out.
Check, please.
Okay. They bring the check by. It was very tasty.
Grazie.
No prosecco, no cappuccino before you go. Okay. Yep. And you
see
up.
Sal almost begin to cry. This is a horrible violation.
I mean, we do have some time.
Can we get set to go?
Of course. And actually seeing Sal's reaction, the waiter brings you a little folded cardboard box with a cup of cannoli in it.
Such a kind soul.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
As we walk out, Sal, I'm just going to say, we're going to keep driving until we know we're alone, and then here's where we're headed.
Okay.
Just going back, the county sheriffs that we dealt with initially, are they in that same area of near?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. That was in a more agricultural area northwest of town.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, so looking out on the street, you don't see any sign of police here, and you do a little bit of kind of random driving in the area. At one point you see a police cruiser going the other way, but it doesn't, follow you. It doesn't look like they are constantly on your tail. So for the moment, it looks clear.
I think we're good, Sal. What do you think?
Looking, are there anything unmarked that seems to be crossing our path? Like a Dodge or something that just seems to cross our path here and there.
You've got pretty good skills in this department. I would say with the amount of sense trouble Sal has and experience in this regard, you are confident that you are not being followed.
Okay. Good.
So you guys making your way up to Pasadena?
Pasadena, baby.
All right. Beautiful.
In the middle of the night?
It has a nightlife. Yeah.
We're going to stake out Samson Trammell's place this evening.
Stake it out? No. We're knocking on doors.
Okay. Alice is going to hesitate a bit and then kind of shrug. Okay. They won't be expecting it, and in the evening, better chance he's home.
I've got cannoli. It's okay.
Driving with one hand. Yeah. All right, so you guys make your way up. Pasadena is a fairly closely packed residential neighborhood. The area that you're going to on Hyacinth Street looks like it's kind of a new money neighborhood. So there are fewer, bigger houses. They're newer, they're nice. The actual one you go to, 2285 Hyacinth Street, is a pretty nice looking mansion. It's a good sized place.
Mansion.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh boy.
It's
Okay.
got the main building. There's like a little, let's say a gardener shed or something offside, and a pretty good sized like carriage house near the driveway and the front gate. So there's obviously money here. Yeah, just sort of driving by and looking at the place. There are lights on inside, both the main building and the carriage house. Yeah, looks like there's a car in the driveway.
Hey, Doc and Alice, if Sal and I can get an audience with this person, do you know what we need to ask them?
Well, apparently he was in a circle with the Raymond Echevarria and George S. So I think he's one of the bad guys. And I'm
I
just
think so too.
wondering whether it makes sense to gain entrance at, and she'll look up at the dark sky like, I don't know, what time is it? Midnight? I mean, he won't be prepared for it, so
It's probably 9:30, 10 o'clock.
okay,
Yeah.
9:30.
So
So
we had an early dinner, right?
okay, 9:30. But yeah, no, I think you ask about Raymond Echevarria, ask about the fire.
Are we supposing we should use the code names they were given, Black and Town Car? Do we say their names straightforward?
I don't think I've thought that far ahead.
Well, that's a bit of an issue, James. You are a bit in front of the house.
I'd prefer to attack the problem head on.
You see me nod.
Okay, so you two go in and we stay out here and wait.
Just be ready. We'll as soon as we're in, either the door will still be open, or we'll flag you in.
Just thinking here, though. I think we should do this a little later on. And here's my thinking. Because we hit them while they're asleep, they're going to be all sorts of combobulated. We go in beforehand when it's dark. We pull the telephone wire so they can't make calls.
So everything you're saying is making James nod. Like, so Brian, looking things over, immediately my attention is shifting, not front door, but saying, how difficult will this be for Sal and I to get inside this place? Can I get kind of an assessment of that as a cop? Like, yeah,
I mean, driving by makes it difficult, but I mean, if you were
Okay.
to like park across the street for a little bit and scope the place out. Yeah, I mean, there's like a thick row of hedges that separates most of the place from the street, but you can see like the general shape of the layout. It looks like there is, there's the front door, which is obvious. It looks like there is, and I would say probably on the way here, you guys may have circled the block. It looks like there was also a back entrance for like deliveries and stuff, which is certainly an option. There's like a sort of a patio entrance next to the carriage house where people could go in and out that way. And at one end, it looks like there's some kind of greenhouse or something. And it looks like there's also a door there.
Okay.
Does this looks like a big place that would probably have servants living in?
Yeah, almost certainly. I will say that as you guys are sitting there, I mentioned there was the car kind of in the porte cochere area. And as you guys are sitting there, the front door opens.
I would.
And
This is actually sorry, Brian.
that's fine.
Sal would actually, once we are established that we are staying there, he
Mhm.
will get out, go to the trunk of the vehicle, take
Mhm.
out the jack, take out the
Right.
spare tire, lay them
Okay.
down like we've had some sort of mechanical issue.
Sure. No, makes sense. But yeah, you see a couple guys come out of the front door, and there's a servant or somebody holding the door for them. And these it's hard to tell from the distance here, but I would say the dress is very distinctive. They're wearing zoot suits, which some of you may be familiar with. They're basically very long, baggy, fancy, sort of conspicuous consumption suits. And I would say that James probably knows that they are often associated with Hispanics and particularly gang activity
Mm-hmm.
in the area. And they come out. One of them is carrying like a little cardboard box, like maybe a foot square. And they get in the car and drive off.
The jack. Like I'm trying to help Sal put everything back in the car quickly.
Okay.
If we have any chance of following him, you're on mute, Sal.
Yeah, Sal will
Yeah.
grab the jack, throw it in the back of the car, not even pack it, just get in and start to drive.
All right. Then why don't you give me a driving roll? I will tell you your TN in just a moment. Your target number is 5.
Okay. Have we refreshed our
Um,
pools?
You have not. I mean, you have not done a full refresh.
No,
But you could during last night's, when you do a rest, you can refresh 3 of your general abilities if you want. So you might have done a couple of the ones that you have expended things on if you wish.
Yeah, okay, that would be driving, scuffling,
Mm-hmm.
and sense trouble.
Okay, seems reasonable.
Okay, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and how do I refresh them individually? Is there a
I don't think there's a global refresh. You just kind of set the number back to the max value.
There is. If you click on the actual skill,
Oh,
it
okay.
shows you. Yes.
Oh, good.
Okay, I'm going to spend 2 in my driving
Mhm.
pool.
Okay.
Yeah, baby.
You're good at this. Yeah, so you're able to follow them. They don't seem to take any notice of you coming through. They kind of they head off for a while, and they wind up heading almost all the way across town to like the Santa Monica area, over near the coast. And they get out in in front of a much smaller and cheaper looking place. They both go inside, and when they do, one of them kind of flicks a light by the front door, which has a very a bright yellow bulb in it, so it kind of stands out a little bit, and they go inside and shut the door.
Like signal flick?
No, I mean, he turns it on and leaves it on,
Oh, okay.
but it doesn't seem like it's just there's enough light from the street lamps there that it's like not something you need to come in or out of the house.
Uh-huh.
So the fact that the light's on seems significant in some way. Hard to say exactly what.
As soon as that light comes on, I point to it, Sal, and turn to you and go, "Open for business?"
Given Sal's less than legal pursuits, would this be something that he knows about?
I'm pretty sure Sal has got some streetwise on him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got 4 points.
Yeah. So this definitely strikes you as the kind of thing that you've seen before in places that have either during prohibition like bootleg alcohol or drugs or something. It's just like, yes, we're stocked up kind of thing.
Okay. Either they are open for business, or perhaps I don't know. I don't know. I had a thought. It went out the window. So.
Perhaps the N is still being trafficked, and this Samson Trammell is still doing business.
Oh, I remember what it was. Either they're open for business, or they're signaling someone that they have a package to hand off, and that foot by foot.
Other cars, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, LA is a very car-oriented town.
No,
even
I'm
in
sorry, parked in
1930s.
front of the.
Parked in front of the place? No, just the one.
So does it look like based off like the lights coming on and stuff like that they were coming into a house that was occupied, or do I get the impression they came here?
You
and they
would guess that they came here and there was not anyone else here.
Okay. So that leaves us with two. And they're not movie producers. So this is not going to be quite as easy as I thought that mansion was leading me to believe. But Sal, I'm still up for your plan, because I think us showing up at the front door gets the same reaction as us breaking into the back.
Mm-hmm. And these guys are gangbangers. They're packing heat.
And about 5 minutes after you guys get there, as you're sort of discussing what to do, another car pulls up. It's a little older, a little more beat up. A guy gets out, also Hispanic, although not in the big fancy suit. He goes up to the front door, does a sort of knock, knock, knock. They open the door. He goes inside. About a minute later, he comes out, gets in his car, and drives off.
Is what we need to know in that house, I'm saying to the three of you, because I think Sal and I can get us in.
This house or Samson's house?
I think 6 of one, half dozen of the other, to be honest with you. I think that we've got the same number of people here. But they're moving stuff out of here. Now, I don't know whether it's N or what it is, but what I'm trying to say is that this isn't going to be just an interview. This is going to be
an interrogation.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But I think if it's going to be an interrogation, who's probably going to know more? And that's probably the guy who supplies them.
I agree with that. We don't know if this Trammell cat, if he's the leader, or it's certainly strange that these two outstanding fine individuals would be tramping around a place like Trammell's. It just it doesn't make sense.
But if they're trafficking drugs, if this is mafia type style thing,
I don't think they're trafficking drugs, because as you saw, that man that went in and came back out didn't have anything in his hand. Question: when the gentleman, the two Hispanics went in, were they carrying anything?
They had the box that they had brought from Trammell's house.
Okay. I don't know that you could fit a lot of keys in that there box. It's a little small.
I think who do we want to talk to most? Trammell's higher up, but that
how do we figure that out? And you guys are like, James is getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Not really at you, right? Just at everything happening right now. My wick keeps getting shorter and shorter.
Well,
if you know how we're going to talk to that boss, then I'll go talk. I need someone to point me in a direction.
It would seem to me that if we's go and talk to these individuals, and they aren't in a state where they can't, suddenly leave, they may go back to travel. And if that's the case, he could be in the wind. I don't know.
How do we know this is not, that Tremel's not one of those two?
Just I'm a simple man, but Travel doesn't sound like a Hispanic name to me.
Well, I mean,
James had thought of that.
Tramel's in a, that's a much more expensive place than this one. So logic seems to dictate that he's, and he was part of the inner crowd from Raymond at Chavaria. So he's got to know a whole lot more. If we can somehow talk to him, but I think he's got a lot more information to share than whoever these two men are peddling whatever they are.
Yeah, you can tell that I was under the impression that James was under the impression that one of those two were Tremel. Now what you guys are saying makes a lot more sense.
It would seem to me, and I don't know the drug trade or anything, that if it were drugs or something like that, they wouldn't be rolling into Hollywood or wherever that was, Pasadena Heights or whatever they're calling it these days. You're going to be rolling into another part of town, and you're going to have some cats there with heat. I didn't see anything like that at Tremel's house, so it just doesn't make sense that they aren't selling something that is in high value or high supply or demand. Yeah, that's it, demand.
Okay. But in any case, Tremel was in crowd. Tremel knows stuff. And this does not look good. I vote you guys, and she looks at Sal, and in particular, you talk to Tremel.
I would agree like that. I just, perhaps these gentlemen here were delivering blow to the man. I don't know.
Hey,
I will
Brian.
say, by the way, that as you guys are having these conversations, you do see occasionally another car or two come up in the similar process. Somebody goes in and comes out a few minutes later. Mac, you were saying?
Just want to ask, what was the box? Just like a packaging box, or was it like a jewelry box or something?
No, it was a pretty generic cardboard box. Like I say, maybe about a foot square and like 6 inches tall.
Maybe Tremel already knows, and he's trying to get rid of things, and this is an auction.
It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
And after 10 years, suddenly someone's interested again.
I say we talk to Tremel. We get Tremel alone, or
yeah, I could talk to Tremel. Not a problem. We have a good conversation.
Is it going to be a 2% conversation, Sal?
I cannot promise that. It may. He may require some special handling.
I'm going to look at my watch, realize how late it is, and turn back to you and go, let's go to Pasadena tonight.
And I think at that point, we should take a brief break.
Okay, be right back. See you guys in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Look at that. The stream didn't drop for an entire 10 minutes straight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, during the 10 minutes of credits, everything works fine.
We're back.
Right. So you guys make your way back up to Hyacinth Avenue in Pasadena. By the time you get there, it's probably 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock at night. There is still lights on in the house, at least downstairs.
I imagine we're going to park farther away this time, Sal.
Sure,
than we did the
that
first
seems
time.
reasonable. You can park by one of the neighbors' houses.
While we're driving up there, Alice is going to ask James and Sal, like, well, what are you going to do what will you say to get in, perhaps? And then she'll think of it. Perhaps you say the car broke down? use that as an excuse to get in.
I love the idea, Alice, but I'm concerned that he knows who we are.
Okay.
I'm all for doing this fast.
Yeah.
So all four of us, or do Adrian and I stay outside with the car? Do we wait in the car?
That is really up to the two of you. This is something that I get a sense that Sal and I are far more familiar with, but I don't, and I pause, think Sal and I being the only ones there when we have the conversation might be the smartest move. We might need a little bit of balance.
So we stick together, go in all four of us?
If you're okay with it, Doc?
I'm all for it. Would it be better Edith or Adrian appeared at the door?
Well, we're not appearing at the door.
We're going through the door.
Yeah, we're gonna wake somebody up. Whatever you're most comfortable with, Doc. I think there's gonna be two other very intimidating presence there that I don't know if Edith versus Adrian will have too much of an impact. So it comes down to what you think you're most comfortable with.
All right, then give him a moment and I'll be ready. And in his briefcase, he just has a change of clothes that are just a simple shirt and work trousers that he'll just quick change into very, very quickly. You know you can see he's used to this.
He's done this before.
You see Sal smile for a moment. Says, hey, this reminds me of my Uncle Vinny. God rest his soul. So this was a few years back, but he was doing the same sort of thing, and he and a couple of his associates were going through the front door. Yeah, didn't end well for him. Dog bit. Oh, it was bad. Blood everywhere. Yeah, so we have to watch out for dogs.
At that, Alice, I imagine Alice has got a kind of a handbag, but she's always got stuff in that, and she's gonna look around the car as we're walking up, and I imagine she sees a big rock or a brick or somewhere, and she's gonna pick it up and put it in her bag.
Okay, makes sense. So you guys heading straight up now?
Going with this? When we go in, please find a record player, put a record on, turn it up. It may get a little noisy.
I don't think we're dressed for the front door. Back door?
Absolutely. Door's a door. In fact, I would suggest the servant's entrance because they typically just have a small lock on them, much easier to get through.
To the servant's entrance we go.
All right.
Are we cutting the phone lines?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Adrian's looking increasingly concerned.
Who have I fallen in with?
and Alice is going into Alice was in the army,
right? Operational mode.
and she was in Nicaragua or at some place, one of her last things. So she's falling in line and following James and Sal, and she's just holding her handbag.
Okay, I feel like it's a good point to suggest that if there are any children in there, we leave them strictly out of this.
Of course.
I tend to agree. But here's the problem. If we go in there and they, things get loud, which it might, just on the off chance, they have a tendency to, start screaming. And, it complicates things.
I'm really wishing we just went front door at this point. All right.
So after Sal
they're gonna
says
scream
that,
either way. So
after Sal says that, I turn to you, Doctor, and go, "We're not hurting children. It's okay."
I certainly won't hurt a child.
All right.
Even I have morals.
Sure. So I assume you guys are trying to stay out of sight as you do all this. So I will need everybody to make me a stealth roll.
Do you have
You have a target number of 4.
Oh, well.
Oh no.
Frickin' Sal. Where's my stealth? I'm gonna spend 2.
Okay. All right. And
I'm going to spend 2 as well.
Okay.
Alice has nothing to spend. She's never been very subtle.
You see Sal do the cartoon stealth walk.
Actually, just because this is a lot, I'm going to spend 3.
Okay.
I'm just going to spend 3.
Well spent.
All right. So you guys start making your way back. You kind of slip past the or probably over the hedges and start making your way around the back of the house. We've got some stealth trained people here, certainly. So James is probably going to suggest that you go on the side, like away from the driveway. And so you're sort of you make your way around the greenhouse and to the back, and you can see sort of where the servants' entrance is, and you're making your way across, across the backyard. And just as you're almost to the servants' entrance, there's an area where you have to kind of cut around a corner to get there, and James and Adrian make their way efficiently up. And just as Sal is turning the corner and making his way up to the door, the servants' door opens, and a Hispanic woman in a maid's uniform, probably in her 40s, sees him and just goes, "Dios!" and immediately she freezes for a second.
I grab her and yank her down.
All right, give me a scuffling roll. Your target number is only 3. She is not expecting this kind of thing.
We'll just spend 1. Okay,
just enough.
I look at
you
James
grab her
and go, pull the wires.
Okay.
And I say to her, "Shh."
She just seems to be praying quietly to herself in Spanish.
Adrian will go up to her. Señora, lo siento. We mean no harm.
Okay. And she looks frightened, but she kind of gives a little nod. James, do you have like electrical repair or mechanical repair or anything like that?
Let's take a look at what James has here. Locksmith and photography. I think photography fits, right? No,
Sure, yeah.
I don't.
Okay. So there are certainly some wires going into this house.
Go for it, Alice.
Alice has got 1 point in electrical repair still.
All right. Well, if you can spend that for me.
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay. Phone lines,
I love like Sal and James have been talking about, we're gonna cut the phone lines, and Alice goes, points at
James like, now where's the phone lines? All right, but yeah, Alice is just kind of yoink. And Sal, you said you're going in?
Yep.
All right. So the room that you come into is the kitchen. It doesn't look like there's anybody else in here at the moment.
I'm going to grab a kitchen knife.
A couple doors heading out. Okay.
Kitchen knife, hand it to Alice.
Okay. Did we tie up the maid?
Yeah. What are we doing with the maid?
Adrian has just been talking with her, trying to keep her calm, just assure like we aren't here for you, we're not going to hurt you.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to tie her up, but what do you guys think?
Sal wouldn't.
Unless Adrian stays with her, she's not going to stay there.
Señora, please, we mean you no harm, but we are so sorry. But por favor, can you please not come back inside for a moment?
Did you say a month?
A moment. For a month.
just take some time off.
30
it'll be fine.
days.
You know what? Maybe hand in your resignation. You're probably gonna need to get your severance pay.
It'd be great. It'd be great if Dr. Adrian's like his Spanish is terrible.
What I meant to say was, no, she looks genuinely terrified when you say like we're not here for you, and she says to you in Spanish, since it's clear that you speak some, that these are very, very bad men. They don't please just go.
The bad men, us or who's in the house?
Everyone, he's all bad.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Someone is. We think that someone in this house has hurt someone, and we really need to understand.
And the look she gives you, like she's still scared, but the look is basically, oh, you think maybe someone in here has hurt someone. He does not
and
look
the sky is blue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very dangerous.
Okay. We'll be all right.
Tell her to go home, I say.
All right. Señora, por favor, vete a casa.
And she kind of looks at you and she points upstairs.
Is somebody looking at it?
No. She's like,
stays here.
My room is up there.
And Alice will just look around, grab a tea towel or something like that.
Sure.
And
There's
just
plenty in the kitchen.
Towel and walk up to Adrian and the maid and say, "Lo siento," and she's gonna tie up her arms, carefully, and just put it to very carefully and respectfully, but like you, not your fault, you're safe. So give her an excuse to stay out here tied up, and very carefully grab another towel and tie it around her mouth.
Okay.
Adrian, this is the extent of his Spanish, just what I've been saying. He's just speaking Spanglish this entire time. Like, I don't have enough words in Spanish to apologize to this poor woman.
Right.
So I don't know enough words.
I mean, she doesn't put up any resistance. You can tell that she's starting to cry, but she's not. You easily are able to bind her and put her out of the way.
And as we
Lo
missile
siento, estás seguro.
Nice, very nice. So Sal, as you and I are like torpedoing into the kitchen, I'm going to grab your arm for just a second and just say, she said men.
Sal's going to take a quick look to see if he can figure out layout.
Sure. So basically on the opposite side of the room from where you came in, there are a couple doors. They're like swinging doors. And you can kind of take a quick peek out, and it looks like there is like a formal dining room out there. You don't see anybody at the moment, and it kind of opens up on your right to what looks like a big kind of foyer living room area. There's a door on the opposite wall, and also in the corner there is a staircase leading up.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I'm pointing up.
Okay. Yeah. Sal, as he's moving, he's looking for water dishes, food dishes for animals.
You do not see anything like that here.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So you guys are heading upstairs?
Yep.
Gun out, being careful.
Okay.
If any sign of anybody that's not asleep.
Alice has got the carving knife in one hand and her handbag in the other.
Did I happen to see the record player?
You do not see a record player in the kitchen. Okay. So sounds like everybody's making their way upstairs.
Are we looking for a record player downstairs or
upstairs? Anywhere where there's noise. I mean,
okay.
We just need to generate the noise.
Yeah, to be fair, it's a pretty big house, so doing it in one area may not mean anything.
But I mean, are we going to look for one downstairs to turn it on, or
no? Not right now. I mean,
okay.
Once we get control of the situation, maybe. But we need to find whoever it is here. and lock him down.
All right, so you guys get upstairs, and there is a hallway that this opens onto. Looks like there's like a guest bathroom, a bunch of doors along one side that are fairly close together. You guess this is like roughly where the one was pointing, so maybe servants' rooms,
area.
something like that. And there is another door on the opposite wall from all of those, which has a padlock, like a roughly installed like hinge and padlock on the outside of it.
Okay. Note that,
And then the whole
you look,
back towards
go
the
around.
door
Yeah,
there.
note that and then go around.
Okay. Yeah, you look around, and it looks like this is you're sort of coming on. In fact, I'm just going to show you a map. You guys haven't seen all of it yet, but just so we have something to refer to here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so basically, you came in on kind of the bottom left corner is the kitchen area, and you've moved upstairs to this first hallway on the left side of the second floor. So looking out of the main part, there's like there's like a balcony that is open to the main area below, and it looks like there's you can see that there are rooms off of it, but it's hard to sort of pick at any details.
And which one's padlocked?
Is the second one on the right. It's not a good way to do to like highlight what I'm looking at.
No. All right.
Pings.
So it's like the middle of the three rooms on the right.
Okay. Middle of the three rooms on the right. Okay.
Got it.
We got to find the bedroom.
Yep. Find master bedroom.
Yep.
Okay.
So looking at, the doors being closer together indicates, someone of less status.
Yeah,
so
certainly
we'll
none of these is big enough for master.
Yeah, we're looking at, what doors were there wide openings between them.
Okay. All right. So you're basically just like making your way out into the main part of the floor.
Yep.
All right. Are you concentrating more on speed or on staying quiet?
Speed for Sal.
Okay. All right. So you make your way across, and as you kind of get to the end of that L-shaped hallway where it opens out onto the main area, you see that there is a guy kind of sitting, or leaning against the wall on the stairway opposite you that kind of leads down into the main entry area. Hispanic guy in a what looks kind of like a cheap suit. And you would probably guess from looking at him that he probably has a gun on him.
Okay.
So he looks like he's some kind of security. He's smoking a cigarette and doesn't seem to be looking at you or have noticed you yet, but he definitely might see movement coming along.
Alice, I put my hand out open in front of you with a please give me the knife gesture.
You see Sal pull his mafia dagger and move as quickly as he can to that guy.
Okay. So this is not a sneak up, this is a charge.
This is a stabby.
Yeah, stabby.
All right, cool. This guy sees rather unexpectedly a large Italian man charging down from upstairs where he was not before. You've got a lot of ground to cover.
As soon as I see him, just real quick, I'm reaching I'm gesturing to you, Alice, for the knife. And as soon as I see Sal pull out, this is a real knife. You see, I go back to my gun again.
All right, fair enough. Sal, why don't you give me a difficulty 4 athletics roll to see if you can get up to him before he has a chance to react.
Was the guy at the bottom or the top of the stairs?
He's kind of in the middle, just
Okay,
kind of halfway
on the
up.
stairs.
Kind of, there's a window there that he can glance out of, kind of thing.
Okay, I'm going to spend points.
Okay.
Lots of points.
Yeah,
Oh,
baby.
yeah, you get right up on him. And it's like, even for a big man moving at speed, Sal can be surprisingly quiet when he wants to. So it's like, the guy's turned the other way looking out the window and just turns back as Sal is on him.
Okay.
So go ahead and give me a weapons roll to do the stabination.
Yeah, I'm looking to drive it into the soft part underneath the rib cage and up to puncture a lung.
Okay. Man, what a professional.
I can't tell if it's Mac that's reacting to the violence or Dr. Adrian.
I mean, 6 of 1. All right. You have certainly hit him. So give me a damage roll. I think the knife is -1 damage.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see here. Equipment. Yes, it is -1.
All right, cool.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. Well, the good news is you hit him. The bad news is I don't know what he had in like his back pocket or something, but basically the knife, he's turning at the wrong angle, the knife just kind of skids across the outside of his jacket, and it doesn't do any significant harm to him. James, I know you've got the gun out. What is your intent at this point?
So my intent
You're still
was
reacting faster than he is.
Yeah, I'm watching Sal. I'm like, good plan, Sal, but I wanted to see that happen. I see that it doesn't go nearly as well as we wanted to, which suddenly makes the clock ticking faster. James's mind is Sal can take care of Sal. I need to find the bedroom because things are about to get noisy.
Okay,
that was 3 damage, correct?
No, I think your 2 hit, Sal, was the 8. And then
you got the 8 to
was
hit,
the
and then
roll.
the 1 was the damage roll.
Yeah,
I'm showing a 4 in the damage roll.
Yeah, it says.
Right, well, yeah, because basically when you use the knife, it does both to hit and damage.
Right.
But I already had you make the weapons check.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the one that hit.
Oh,
Yeah.
So yeah, in the future you can just hit the knife and it'll do
You
both.
just hit the knife and it'll do both.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so James is basically darting down the hall to try and figure out, where he needs to be here.
Yep.
What about Alice?
I think Alice is going to follow James.
Okay. And Adrian?
Adrian would have more so still been prioritizing stealth, so probably would just be trying to not be seen at this point.
Okay. So
kind of not realizing
hanging back in the hallway.
Yeah, not realizing how quickly everything was escalating, was still focused on not being seen.
Yeah,
this smart person here.
This is not your area of expertise.
This is the exact thing I've had to help a lot of my patients get over in the Chicago area. It's like,
oh, personal trauma experience.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Don't kill my clients.
Okay, so Sal, this guy, well, the first thing he does is he just kind of yells, "Hey, ayuda!" He's calling for help in Spanish pretty loudly. And you're too close for him to reach for a gun. Although you can see now that he has one in kind of a shoulder holster. So instead, he is just going to take a swing at you. He's got like a little blackjack in his hand. So he is going to try to hit you with that.
What is your to hit?
4.
Probably 4. Yeah, I would assume. All right, so he swings to hit you. He does not. Oh no! Sorry, I added the +1. Yes. So he is going to hit you, and that is going to be, again, no damage. He's mostly just kind of fending you off, and it kind of bounces off your shoulder without doing anything significant. But he has definitely yelled. So, and you can hear like some further activity from down in the house.
From downstairs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, all right. So, Sal, what is your next plan here?
Since he's facing me now, I'm going to kind of use my body weight to push him against the wall.
Okay.
And take the dagger and just, right across the throat into the windpipe and everything.
Fast and final. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Give me that knife roll.
Okay. let's do this the correct way. Let's see here.
Oh,
Damage
Jesus
rolls are
Christ, I hate
killing
this.
us here.
Oh.
Yeah, so again, you've kind of cut his neck, but not anything significant going on.
Right.
All right, James and Alice, as you guys are scurrying across the top floor, you can see that on the other side there's kind of like a big sitting room with two big doors coming off of it. One heads back and would have to be a fairly small area given where all the other houses on there. So you're guessing it's probably the one that's on your left as you come in. So you head through there.
Yep, open the door like I live here.
Looks like a fancy sitting room, not especially tidy, but nicely decorated. And let's see, there's a door on your right to like a balcony kind of area, and then another door ahead, which looks like it's probably the bedroom proper.
Yep, looking for a bed.
Okay. Move in through there. It is a big king bed. It is made, and there is not currently anyone in it.
Farvignugan. I turn around and I just look at you, Alice. Giving you a half second to tell me something.
They're not here. And she'll just say, we move back to Sal.
Yep.
Whoever's here will be heading to them.
Done.
All right. Adrian, you want to do anything? You're still taking cover as Sal and this guy are scuffling back and forth without inflicting any serious damage?
Like you said, there was something coming from downstairs.
There are noises from downstairs. You can't see anybody yet, but
yeah,
it sounds like people have heard the shouting.
Yeah, he's just trying to keep an eye on that, essentially.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sal, your opponent is going to try and hit you again because he's a jerk. And he is not in a good position to get anything going there. So there's a lot of sound and fury going on here, but no real injuries have taken place. Yeah, exactly.
The classic RPG slap fight.
Exactly. And Sal, I will say that, in your peripheral vision, you can see that there are a couple more guys that look more or less, they're dressed more or less like this guy, kind of coming across the floor in the foyer area and heading for the stairs.
Okay.
And I'm going to head, knowing what's happening. You let me know when I get there. My intent is to get to the balcony, gun out to cover the balcony and cover Sal.
Sure. I think we're back to Sal at this point.
Sal is going to take this guy, grab him, and put him in between him as a shield.
Okay.
And then, if possible, he's going to get his gun out.
All right. So that would be more of a scuffling roll, I think.
Okay.
Come on.
There we go.
Oh yeah, piece of cake. You can shove him around and get in the way, and I will say that gives you enough of a free moment to get your gun out.
Okay.
And you can see that the guys down below also have their guns out at this point.
Yep.
James, you kind of get back and see this, Sal's, drawing his gun as this guy is trying to turn around on the steps, and there's two guys below who also have pistols in hand. They're also shouting.
Shoot the one that looks the closest to shooting at Sal.
All right. Seriously.
Give me
sure. Okay. Give me a shot.
All right. Colt.
Your target number is 4. Sorry, your target number is 3 on this guy.
Like that damage, though.
Would have been good if you had only hit him. You blow out a front window. If something else, he's going to keep his head down. Alice, how about you?
When the
There has been
'cause
gunfire.
this is the first firearm going off.
Correct.
Alice is gonna kind of drop to the floor out of sight, and I think
Mhm.
she's going to try and she'll look to James for instructions. I don't know if he's giving anything, and otherwise
Not even looking at you.
He's focused downstairs. Yep.
then she's going to, kind of trying to keep low, move back to the hallway where Adrian is,
Okay.
and the stairs that they came up with. Just trying
Right.
to stay out of sight and head towards Adrian.
All right. So you're sort of low crawling around behind
Yep.
where James is.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Let's see. The two guys downstairs with guns. One of them is going to shoot at Sal, and one of them is going to shoot at James. So let's see. After Sal.
Does our 2-hit go up with cover? I can't remember how cover works.
Let me see. Cover isn't usually a thing that we. Let's see. If you had full cover, it would help, but you're kind of over the balcony. So not.
Yep.
All right. So that one, the shot against Sal is going to hit, and that will be 3 points of damage to the big guy.
Okay.
And the one shooting at James will also hit for 5 points of damage. It gets you square in the shoulder. It's not your shooting arm, but it still hurts.
5, you said?
5, yep. And as a reminder, you don't start taking any effects or anything from injuries until you get to 0 or below.
Okay.
So you are hurt, but you are still fully functional at this point. Sal, we're back to you. The third guy that you had been fighting with before just kind of takes a step down and gets his gun out.
Okay, I'm going to shoot him
Okay.
in the back. I mean, just press the barrel of the gun against the back center and just pull the trigger.
Yep. All right. So that's going to be point blank. One thing you'll notice on the character sheets, it's got like next to your weapon, there's like 4 different boxes going across.
Mhm.
And it's basically like the first one is point blank, then short range, medium range, long range. So you'll see that it's got the range adjustments on that. So if you click the appropriate box, like you're point blank for this guy, Sal. So.
Okay. And then I spin as normal.
Sure.
Let's see.
Oh dear. Yeah, you hit him square in the back, and he just drops like a Polack steer. He's dead before he hits the ground.
Okay.
Which one less opponent, but also slightly less cover. Do you want to move or anything while you're?
Yeah, I will move to a point of cover if I can get it.
Okay.
If not, I just want to be in motion when they fire at me.
Yeah, I would say you can get up. There's like a column at the edge of the banister on the stairs. You can dart up and be fairly close to James at that point.
Yep.
When you take your shot, James.
Pew pew.
Okay.
This time we're going to spend some points. So
Seems
I would be at
reasonable.
a +1 and not the +3. I'd be in the middle box, do you think?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
short range.
Spending 2 points.
Hit. All right, and that is 4 damage. That is enough to put this guy down. He's not dead like the other one, but he kind of drops down, clutching his side, and is out of the fight.
That leaves us with 1, right?
That leaves you with 1.
Drop it.
Let's see. Adrian, what do you have in mind? Still just hunkering down?
Am I anywhere near this last man?
I mean, he's downstairs. You could certainly get to the balcony and see him.
Oh, I thought that I had stayed at the stairs.
My understanding is that you were kind of still like in the hallway leading to the stairs, but if you want to be up close to where the stairs are, you certainly can.
I was just trying to remember the layout of the mansion, just trying to actually figure out where it was, because I know I was sticking behind a bit, but I don't know where that would have left me, actually.
I think you were in the hallway upstairs leading to the stairs.
You know what?
Yes.
Let me
That's where I had
let
you.
me try something here. I'm just trying to see because I did have a scene drawn up for the main that we could use this as a map, and it's occurred to me that it might be useful, but I'm not able to edit it right now, so I'm not going to mess with it online. Okay, cool. All right, so Adrian, what would you like to do?
Gotcha. Okay, so who am I close to then?
I'd say you're relatively close to James. Alice is coming in your direction, and you can see the guy with the gun downstairs.
I guess at this point it's just kind of keeping cover with Alice, just like watching see if anyone else is coming.
Okay. Alice, you just going to get as far as where Adrian is, or you gonna head for the stairs? What's the plan?
I'm moving, out of towards staying low, trying to keep cover and out of sight. Move towards Adrian, and then when I'm with Adrian, I'm going to whisper, say softly, "Do we double down back behind them, or stay here?"
I'm not sure. I'm really not.
Well,
this is not a situation he's used to.
My idiom.
I'd say for the moment, let's just stay here.
Okay. The last guy hears James yell, "Drop it." He does not drop it. He instead shoots back at James. And
I need you to
hits.
weapon, Brian.
I mean, we'll see what happens. The dice tell the story they tell. Only 1 point of damage. That one just grazed you as you duck down. I will say that the two of you, actually anybody who's looking down at the scenario, can see kind of movement outside the front door. There's like, you can see like motion in the side lights, the window panes on either side of the door. But no one appears to be coming through yet. Sal, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna have to shoot at this guy.
Okay.
We're gonna have
Seems
to
reasonable.
establish some sort of basic fire here. So because we've got company coming in. Okay. I'm going to spend a point of shooting or firearms, whatever it is.
You should be able to do it off the weapon.
Yeah, when you click on the attack, it should give you an option to.
Well, just to the right of the weapon, it gives you +1.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. This I'm no longer at point blank, so I'm at what?
Correct. You're the next box over.
Close range.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You hit him and badly hurt him, but he is not quite down. James?
On the front door, trying to find cover, but waiting for someone who thinks that going through that front door is a good idea.
Okay, fair enough. And then Alice and Adrian, you got a plan? I guess I should ask if Alice has a plan. Adrian is a little bit out of his milieu.
Not exactly his purview.
True.
I think Alice is hunkering down, ready to, provide aid as soon as those with the guns have taken care of things.
Can Sal make a quick just
unless somebody else
something
does
or
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Sal yells, "Watch our back."
Yeah.
Okay.
And Alice, for the first time, I got the gun kind of on the balcony, trained on the front door, and I turned to you and I'm looking like you're not going anywhere, and I said, "Get into the locked door."
Okay. She'll nod, and I think kind of grab Adrian and start.
I'll keep watch while you try to get into the locked door.
Okay.
So
all right. So the two of you kind of come around the corner.
Yeah.
All right. And you do have lock picking yet, right, Alice?
I don't know if I did that.
I thought you did. I may be mistaken.
Got a lot of stuff, but no lock picking.
Locksmith, rather. No, it's just James and Sal that have that. Okay.
Yeah.
There are certainly other ways to get through the door,
like a rock and a purse.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I've used up all my electrical and mechanical repair, so something. Yeah, perhaps it's a metal lock.
Yeah, it's like a little brass padlock.
Brass pad. Oh well, in that case, instead of breaking open the lock, just knock the lock off the door.
Right.
Off the
Sure.
hinges.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
All right.
and just I'll
right.
I'll grab out the rock or whatever I got and just start hammering it to knock the lock off.
All right. So that's your turn. Adrian, you've got a view of the back stairs. There doesn't seem to be anybody coming up there yet. And I then our remaining gunman downstairs is like trying to back up towards the front door, staggering a little bit, and he will take another shot at James. Actually, no, he'll shoot at Sal because Sal's the one who just hurt him pretty bad. So that is a miss. You know, it does a classic, shatters the little vase on the railing, but no damage is done.
That was my favorite flower.
Yep. And you look, it looks like he's saying something to the people outside the door. I don't think any of the two of you up here speak Spanish, and it's also very loud in here, so you can't really hear what he's saying, but he's shouting something in the direction of the front door. Sal, we're back to you.
Shoot.
Finish him.
Fatality.
Nope.
Ah.
Well, it's a 3. I don't know what.
No, I know a
what it
3 will
is.
hit them. A 3
Okay.
will hit this guy. Yeah. So basically, you know, he kind of takes his shot and he sort of turns his head a little bit to yell in the direction of the door, and you just hit him square in the neck, and he drops down, and you know, blood spatters all over the nice marble foyer.
Maybe he'll act as a door stop.
All right. So with that done, anything else you want to do move wise or anything?
No, I'm gonna stay here. James, can you cover this?
Yeah, and I nod, and as soon as I see that the foyer first floor is clear, and I'm imagining we got the two. If I saw the map right, there's kind of
Right,
like
the two big
stairs.
curving staircases.
And I'm imagining Sal is on one side. I was coming down on the other. So I'm
Okay.
coming down the other, gun still trained on waiting for that door to open. But now that I know the first floor is quote unquote clear, I want to get as close to that front door as I can.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're going down like next to the side lights, so you couldn't be seen from outside, but
Correct.
close to there. All right, cool. You're able to do that. Sal, you kind of staying up here where you were?
No, I'm actually going to move back toward the door that is
Okay.
behind us that leads into the larger areas,
Okay.
and quickly just do a very quick move in, you know,
Clear.
assassin clear.
Okay. I will say.
Could I
Mhm.
perhaps, when it's back to my turn, I have an idea before you start saying whether or not I managed to hit the lock open, because I was looking at my stats.
Collection of skills. All right.
Yeah, and I have an idea, but once it's my turn.
Sal, you take a quick scan through the bedroom. There doesn't seem to be anybody here, although you do see a record player.
Okay. I think we're far past that.
Yeah, ship sailed on that one.
Well, I mean, don't you want some, music? A
Dramatic
soundtrack?
background music. There you go.
Yeah.
It's like the
not a
shooting
Tarantino
scene from the Boondock Saints.
Just some quality ragtime while we're getting murdered.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Adrian, you're kind of watching the back stairs and you don't see anybody, but tell you what, give me a give me a sense trouble roll.
And I want to
Spend
see.
the points.
What do you think I'm gonna do? What do you think I'm gonna do?
That's how this game works.
Do I have a TN?
Yeah, your TN's 4.
Okay, I'll spend 3 then.
Okay, you do not want to fail this. I see. And
No,
it's
not.
impressive to hear it, among all the gunfire. But after the gunfire stopped for a moment, you hear what sounds like a faint creaking on the stairs, as though someone is coming up slowly and trying to be quiet. And then Alice.
Okay. So, if you let me, I'd
Mhm.
like to combine my preparedness with my craft because I've got 1 point in
Oh,
technical
look
craft.
at you using skills.
Is that I grab my purse, reach
Uh-huh.
in to take out the rock,
Mm-hmm.
and then pause for a moment and start rifling through it to grab a screwdriver.
Oh,
Who's
okay.
in here?
And I want to use the screwdriver to try and take off the
Take the hasp off, basically.
take the hasp off the lock.
Mhm.
So to disconnect the
Yeah,
what's
just
keeping the
take the
locks in the
plate
door.
off.
Yeah,
Yep, absolutely.
plate off.
Yeah, that is actually a surprisingly effective thing. It doesn't look like this was, designed to, this was not a high quality security installation. This was
Fort
just
Knox,
a
yeah.
dude with a screwdriver. So yeah, Alice is, quickly turns all those things off. The door is now unlocked.
Do I need to spend any points for this, or
Spend a point of preparedness to have the screwdriver,
Okay.
but other than that, I think you're fine.
okay? So spend points. Yeah, and once the door is unlocked, I'll just I don't know, hesitate and then kind of does it open inwards or outwards?
It opens out towards you.
Out. Okay, then I'll try the lock and open it and peek around.
Okay. It's dark, but there is like a little pull chain you can see. Doesn't look like a very big room.
Okay. Then perhaps I'll just call out, James, I'm in, and open the door.
Okay. And somewhat anticlimactically at first, this appears to be a linen closet. You can see little stacks of sheets and towels on the shelving. It's not particularly deep. You notice that there's like what looks like a stack of towels that was kind of dropped on the floor and just kind of hastily there. And then in the gap where those towels were, kind of directly opposite you, you see in the wall suddenly something opens and there is a small red mouth full of teeth that just goes. I think we'll go to credits there.
Oh, God.
Well, the good news is if you felt like you weren't following clues and didn't know where you needed to go, I think you've made some progress in that department today. So yeah, Craig, since you gave us that lovely little scream, tell me about your stars and wishes for the day.
Well, first of all, I challenge anybody to find another channel that uses hasp in a sentence correctly.
We're a very articulate group here.
We
Greg,
are
you know.
very well versed, and we understand locks, and we understand the particular parts of locks. And I didn't know what a hasp was, but I figured it out in context. Stars and wishes, holy criminal. I found. So a lot of times when I think about stars, I think about when was I the most immersed, right? Or and immersed is such a tricky word, but where did I feel like we were there? And I think it was when we started at the mansion. So Brian, your ability to keep us there, but keep it moving. I saw the whole thing play out in my head, and that's when I was most with James and inside James. So I think that was my star. It's just that whole scene, and it was really a table's victory there, because I felt all of us were just like, here we are. Like this is you thought that the guys chasing in the car was bad. So that was definitely my stars. Wishes. It just that we keep going. I feel like we're being fed things, and I don't feel stalled. That's always the biggest threat here, right? With these types of games is that stall, and I've yet to feel that. So even though James is exhibiting extreme impatience, I feel for me the pacing has been phenomenal. So I just wish that continues, and that if stalls come up, we're able to get over them quickly.
Absolutely. Mac, how about you? Stars and wishes.
I think my source is probably just watching Sal be very in his element and trying to make us believe he's totally not in his element. Just like, now I don't know anything about illegal drug trades or, interviewing people with excessive means, but if I were
If it was
hypothetically,
me,
yeah, in that situation, which I do think fits the character beautifully, and I think for wishes, I'm not quite sure. It was fun kind of being able to see the combat again, because it's a bit more loose in a sense, but it makes a lot of sense for how the game runs. So just kind of being able to navigate through the system a bit more as we go on.
Yeah, it's never going to be a tactical combat thing, but I think it seems to be flowing well for what we want.
Yeah, and real quick on that, two things. One, I forgot my real star. My real star was the honest, visceral reaction Mac had to the start of the Vinny story. That was pretty beautiful,
so
actually.
Happy!
Like the joy,
Finally!
the joy that we saw in
I
Mac's
was
face and
waiting
body
for so long.
was amazing. The other thing too, and Brian and Naomi, you run games too. Like I am finding myself being drawn more and more to no initiative combat, to what makes sense, right? And like I've been playing a lot of Shiver lately, and what's great about Shiver is you've got first, middle, last, and the director in that case says you're first, all this is in the middle, but you're definitely going to be last. And like another place that does have initiative, but I like how it's handles like FFG Star Wars, where there's everybody rolls initiative, but everything's flexible as far as slots go. So the enemies can exchange slots at any point. So can the players. Same thing in Forbidden Lands. We have the ability at the beginning of each round. I'm realizing that I like initiative makes less and less sense to me, and structures things in a way that I don't like as much anymore. And I'm listening to an AP where they're playing acclaimed Cthulhu, and acclaimed Cthulhu is the initiative is whatever the GM says, right? Whatever makes sense at the table. And the AP I'm listening to are some D&D table that are now trying acclaimed. They were like, we're going to do initiative. Like they couldn't make the jump. No, and they couldn't handle like the zone distances and stuff. It made them very uncomfortable because they're such used to a tactical combat game. So
now I will say that Gumshoe and Trail of Cthulhu does have an initiative system. It's basically based on whoever has the most points in the skill they're using that turn, but it can change from round to round, and you need to keep track of people changing and that kind of thing. And I usually don't find it worth the squeeze. So I just like, Sal and James are much more combat experienced. They'll probably go first, and then Naomi and Adrian maybe less so.
And I think about the combat that we just went through, it all made sense, right? At no point did it feel forced. It's like, yeah, obviously it's time for Alice to act and stuff. So
Okay.
that's my one comment there.
All right. Mac, did we get a wish from you? I know we got the star.
You did, yeah. I was just learning more about the system. As
Oh,
we
right.
go along.
You did say that. All right, cool. Naomi, how about you?
I think my star was yeah, the lead up to the mansion and then the gunfight is that I'm, very eager to get into it, and this is, it's progressing, but at the same time I'm, especially when the gunfight broke out and people are getting hurt, is I'm extremely aware of how dangerous it is what we're doing.
For sure.
And are we going to get killed? And so that I really feel that suspense. So I'm really enjoying that. Like, yes, this makes sense, and Alice is gung ho for this, but at the same time, she's like, okay, no, the men with the guns are shooting. That's not my job. I'm gonna, stay out of the way. And still at the same time, I'm like, oh my god, what have we done? But yeah, committed.
Fair enough.
I feel like I think James kind of went through that same process, which is like, by the time we got in there, he's like, oh shit. Oh boy.
Yeah.
And I think my wish is just, I'm really enjoying, this is a real investigation for, both for the investigators, but for us as a player as well. And so we have the conversation with Olivia that leads to a name and that leads to something. So I'm just really looking forward to how that, assuming I don't get eaten by whatever's coming out of the linen closet,
it had a big lunch.
Yeah. Seeing where this all leads us.
One thing I really like about this adventure is there are so many paths and trails of clues that can lead you to where you're going. So you can
The best
almost
designed
always
ones
get
have
there.
that.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, what are your star and wish for the day?
My star is the drive, and the impatience in James, which sort of kind of pushed us ahead. Sal would, for his part, would have preferred to do a little bit of recon, maybe see those guards. So now we're heading into a situation where everything is just gone sideways.
Yep.
And I actually, that's fun, because it's like, okay, are we going to live? Are we going to die? For me, the wish, I just wish we had better dice. I mean,
that's true. You guys, the initial stabbing, slap fight was
use the sharp point part.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean that, and I'm just enjoying this so much. It's such a good story.
Excellent. That's what I like.
How about for our keeper?
Well, my star, I think, was realizing that, because obviously I kind of knew that a lot of things were going to be leading to this eventually. And, I was kind of expecting, just like Chris said, well, we'll go in, we'll scope the place out, we'll see where people are, we'll find a good plan. And when James was like, no, we're going tonight, I was like, that's fascinating. And I hope I don't have to kill you all.
Yeah. Not ideal, right? Not ideal, but
it was perfectly in character thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm struggling with it, like, because I'm struggling trying to figure out, and this is true of, I think, any type of this cosmic horror stuff, right? Like, in some ways, like the shiver slasher stuff I'm running is easier. But like this one is just like, what would an ex-cop PI, where would he be at this point in his head, based on what we know and what let's pretend we never saw a single mouth, right? That we just were finding out about this cult and the orgies and the burnings and the murders and stuff. That alone, I think, would have a huge tax on him. And then on top of that, the exploding book and the seeing mouths and stuff. Like, I don't even know what my stability is right now, but I know, like, James is running out of ways to explain the world to himself. And he's almost just now he's just going to run. And granted, I think that if any of his compadres point in a different direction, he'll just turn and run in that direction now. Yeah, it's really fascinating to me. It's been a long time since I've played as a player in this scenario, and it's really interesting to try to figure out what would just a person do.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see, once however many of you get through this situation, and depending on what happens here, how that will affect James going
Yeah.
forward. And then as far as my wishes go, I think the only thing is I wish Craig would remember to reboot right before the session starts.
That's it.
Tech issues
We're not coming
happen.
back in February. We're not coming back to March.
Well, that's true. We do have some holiday time coming up, but we'll be
well
back in early
deserved.
March, and I am really looking forward to seeing where you guys take this next.
Yep. Follow Third Floor Wars everywhere. You can see when in March we're going to be back. Tomorrow night is episode 3 of Shiver. We're doing kind of a 90s folk horror slasher theme. You got a bunch of juvenile delinquents in a summer camp, isolated. What could go wrong? Find out tomorrow night.
Six-legged opossums.
Take care, all.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.